Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kat. I am the Nurse Flipper. I am a full-time reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, whatnot. And today I want to review something. I talk about this every few months because I think it's super important, and that is do not compare yourself to others. I want to give you this very, very famous quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and that is, comparison is the thief of joy. So we're going to talk about comparing your business to others. I'm actually going to pop up some screenshots of some friend of mine, their 90-day totals, as well as my own, just to show you we are all successful, but we are all so different in our business model. We're different in what we sell. And I think it's really important for you to know not to compare yourself to others. All right, Dalton has something new he would like to show you before we get into the video. What do you have there?
Rubik's Cube.
He has a Rubik's Cube. He has been wanting one for a while. Have you been able to solve it?
No.
Not yet. Are you trying? Yes. He is working hard on solving his Rubik's Cube, so he wanted to show it to you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I already talked about it a little bit, but I know that you might watch a lot of different reseller channels. And as a reseller yourself, it's really hard not to compare yourself to others. But I want you to know that everybody that you're watching has their own business model. They have their own business system, and you really need to kind of take a step back. And if you are doing comparison, make sure that your business model is similar to theirs, that you have the same amount of listings. Just as an example, for mine, I have over 7,000 listings, currently just shy of $50,000. We are at $49,307 on our 90-day total, and we have 1,165 sold. I will tell you that a lot of resellers that you watch will probably tell you that my business model sucks, and that's okay. I think that we each need to have our own business model, and mine is a mix of slower selling and faster selling items. I buy a ton of lots, and therefore I end up with a lot of stuff that doesn't sell fast. So if you have 200, 300, 400, 500 listings, it would be very detrimental, especially if your business model is the same as mine, where you have a mix of slower and faster selling items, to compare yourself to me when you have less than 10% of the listings that I do. So I asked a few of my friends to give me screenshots of their 90-day totals, and I'm going to go over them with you. I will tell you, all three of these have YouTubes. They all teach about reselling, and some of their business models are the same as mine. So one of the big things too, when you're looking at my numbers, is you need to remember that I have employees. I have employees that list for me on eBay. I have employees that help me ship on eBay. So I am no longer a one-man show. Now, I will tell you that is because I have so much going on between YouTube as well as doing whatnot, going out to source, filming, things like that. I have 2 YouTube channels that I have to take care of. So it's almost like I have 3 full-time jobs. So I do have help. I was able to do 6 figures by myself before I even had a YouTube channel. And I think a lot of that gets brought up as well. People think that, oh, you're on YouTube, that gets you more sales. I'm not going to deny that it does get me sales, but for me, it's a very small percentage of sales that come from YouTube viewers. And that's because I buy such a wide variety. Like, everybody's not going to like what I buy. I have to have that exact right buyer. So I do have that as a help catalyst. But the thing that I don't want people comparing is saying, oh, I'm not doing that good because I'm not on YouTube. I feel like if I didn't have all the YouTube channels, didn't have whatnot going on, I would be doing much, much better on eBay because I would have more time to focus on it. So if you don't have a YouTube channel, I think that is actually an advantage in your business. Now, before I get into sharing my friends' 90-day totals and just talking a little bit about their business models, which might help you kind of try and decide where you want to go, I want to say comparison can be good if you use it for motivation. You know, if you're looking at somebody and saying, oh, wow, they have a $50,000 90-day total. I'm at 20,000. I know I can get to that 50,000. And you put in that work to get to there. That is okay. However, typically you should only be comparing yourself to your past self. You should say, okay, this time last year, my 90-day total was $2,000. Now it's $5,000. So I've improved $3,000 on a 90-day total. Or last month, we only sold $2,000. This month, we've sold $3,500. And I'm just kind of pulling numbers out of thin air. But compare to yourself last year. Compare to yourself the month before. eBay has that nice little graph that shows if you're up or down. That is a good thing to just kind of keep a gauge on things. And mine changes day by day. Yesterday, we were up by 5%. Over the last 31 days, today it says we're down 3%. So it does fluctuate, and I don't stress too bad over it, but definitely use yourself as a hallmark of what to compare to, and compare to others to get motivation to kind of hype yourself up and let yourself know that you can do better. And just don't use that comparison for negativity. So another thing I want to say is that life isn't fair. Where we live, I mean, you can control it somewhat, right? But I don't want to move. I like where I live. And I live in a very, very not so great sourcing place. So I do a lot of my sourcing online, but it would be unfair to myself to compare myself to somebody who lives in a wonderful, wonderful sourcing area and is able to source all this high dollar, fast sell through stuff when I simply don't have that opportunity in my area. Now, I can try to overcome that by sourcing online and doing different things, but I have to remember they might be in a metro area with 20 Goodwills within an hour where I have to drive an hour just to get to one. So if you know me, I sell everything. I am going to talk to you about a few of my friends who sell different things. The first one is going to be Kaylee Elaine. Her business model is similar to mine in the fact that she also has employees. I'll move over here. I'll put her 90-day up here while we are talking about her. So Kaylee has a $68,000 90-day total. I only have 49,000. So if I was comparing, I would probably beat myself up. She has employees, I have employees, but she sells primarily women's clothing. So there is such opportunity in reselling. You can sell whatever you want, see what is available in your area and sell it. So Kaylee's sell through is similar to mine. She has 8,449 listings. She has 1,522 sold, and an amazing, in my opinion, 90-day total, even for the fact that she has employees. This is absolutely amazing, and I would be thrilled to be at $68,000. However, I'm not. But what I can do is be like, okay, I need to watch Kaylee, see what brand she's picking up, see what is selling for her, and then I can use that as motivation for myself rather than beating myself up because she has almost $20,000 on me on a 90-day total. And she has been on my podcast along with her assistant. And she has a great, great thing going there. And if that's something you want to shoot for, definitely do it. But I know a lot of you that resell don't want to have employees. That is not your goal. You want to maximize whatever you can do by yourself, which is completely fine. Not everybody wants to be a boss. Not everybody wants to be employers. A lot of us want to work for ourselves, to be by ourselves and not have to depend on anybody or have anybody depend on us. And I will tell you from my experience, it definitely does add a notch to the stress level because you're not just responsible for yourself anymore. So now I'm going to talk about another friend of mine who is a one-man show. He does everything by himself. He has absolutely no employees. I am going to pop his 90-day total up here for you. And this is Mike, Golden State Picker. And I'm going to also pop his Amazon up here in just a little bit. But if you look at his sell-through rate, he only has 1,841 listings. So that's less than a third of what I have listed, and his 90-day total dollars more than mine. And he has no employees. So if you think you can only make these big bucks by yourself, I am going to tell you, you are completely wrong. You definitely can. And Mike Golden State Picker is proof of that. So he has 651 listed. So about a third of what he has listed has sold in 90 days, which is absolutely incredible. And you can see that 90-day total is 51,000. So this is somebody that is doing his business by himself. He doesn't have employees. He is in California, so he probably has access to quite a bit more sourcing opportunities than like myself. And that's something that you definitely, again, have to keep in mind. But if you're wanting to do it by yourself, Mike would be a great person to use as motivation that a one-man show can be done. A $50,000 90-day total by yourself can be done. But you have to make sure that what you're sourcing is of high quality and that is going to sell as fast as he does. So that's where that whole comparison thing kind of can get in the way of your progress. Because if all you're doing is worrying about, well, Mike has made $50,000 in 90 days, why haven't I? Well, do you have 1,800 listings? And are those listings good quality listings? And are they stuff that people want to buy? If they aren't, or you don't have that many listings, be careful when comparing. So Mike sent me this. He sent me his Amazon, and he wanted to say, so if you see here on the screen, Mike has, on the day that he screenshot this for me, he had $222 in sales on Amazon, 14 units. And if you look, his 30-day total is up by 48% and 34% over the past year. And now what Mike told me is that he has been putting in the work. That is exactly why it is up. So Mike by himself, again, guys, has had 17,000 in Amazon sales on top of that $51,000 on eBay. So Mike is actually closer to $70,000 as a one-man show. He sells primarily books, I believe, on Amazon. He is another great one to watch. He does a lot of teaching. And from what he told me, those numbers on Amazon are a direct reflection. He's sending in 50 books a day. And Mike can comment in the comments if I am incorrect. I believe that's what he told me. 50 books a day. Plus, he is still doing his eBay listings. So Mike is putting a lot of time and effort into this to make that $70,000 sales point by himself in 90 days. All right, so the last one I'm going to share with you is going to be Jake from J Ride Flips. All three of these individuals have been on my Tuesday Night Reseller podcast. You can search to find their episodes. I also will throw their channel links down in the description as well. So Jake's 90-day total is $70,481. Look at his sell-through rate. It is almost 100%. He has 2,007 listed and 1,580 sold. Now, when Jake came on our show, he told us he was only picking up stuff with 75% sell-through. He was in the chat a couple weeks ago, said he picks up 80%. So that means if there are 100 items listed, he will only pick it up if he sees 80 of them sold. And I bet most of us cannot say the same. So he is very, very picky with what he is putting up. Jake does have help part-time. He does have somebody that helps him to list as well as ship. And so he's another one. His employees are just part-time. My employees, I have one full-time, one part-time that work for me on eBay. So you have to remember that payroll's coming out and take that into calculation. So let all of us on YouTube definitely be a motivation and inspiration for you to do better in your business. I feel like every single one of you could surpass me with the time and effort put in, whether that is better sourcing, it is more listing. The potential is there, but I also will tell you almost everybody I just showed you, including myself, we put in full-time hours, and a lot of times we put in more than full-time hours into our business. So it is not a, work part-time, make full-time money. That is just, for me, it's not the reality of reselling. I have to spend time sourcing, there is time listing, and there's time shipping. So if you want those sales to go higher, most of the time it's going to require you putting in more work. Now, there is an exception to that. You could sell only high dollar items. If you only sold, 20 things a month that were worth $1,000 each, that wouldn't take a ton of time. So that is another kind of different business model you can do. But my main point of doing this video is just to want you to know, don't let those of us on YouTube be a comparison for you that takes joy away from you. Let us be a comparison that motivates you, that drives you to get better, wants you to make more sales, helps you to source better, and doesn't kind of, take you down. Because I think your mentality and your mental health is really important. And if you're beating yourself down by comparing yourself to others, it just is not going to help. It is super, super draining. That goes on YouTube as well. And I've been guilty of that. It's really hard not to compare yourself to others. Instead, again, compare yourself to yourself. Look at your last month's totals. Look at what you were doing last year and see how you're doing there versus, oh, Kat's doing this, but I'm not doing this. Don't do that. And I hope that this has helped. And you've also seen different business models. You see Jake picking up only really fast sell-through stuff, me picking up stuff that is in lots, so I end up with a big mix. Mike is kind of there in the middle, and I think Mike does a lot different stuff than I have. So if you want to learn different stuff, watch different channels. I sell a bunch of different stuff, but I don't sell a lot like Mike and Jake do. And I definitely don't sell what Kaylee does. I need to learn. I keep saying it. Kaylee does women's clothes, which is one area I am very, very unknowledgeable in. And I feel like if I increase that knowledge, I go to all these places with clothes for $1 that if I could learn some women's brands to pick up, then I could increase my sales. So I really, really appreciate you watching. Hit that thumbs up if you like it. Share with your friends. So use it as a motivator. Don't use it to beat yourself down. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope your sales are doing great. And if they aren't, list. Buy good stuff, list good stuff, get more sales. That is the bottom line. I appreciate you watching. I will see you on the next one.